I was going to hit record and I didn't know you were starting. Okay, there you go. Go ahead, Jerry.
Okay, so pretty much landlords are trying to maximize revenues on their properties if they have it, they own it as an investment property. So we thought, why don't we reach out and see if they want to try to maximize that income by adding a garden suite as well. So I reached out to Sri on this basis to see if there's something his client would be interested in. And what we do is we handle it on a full turnkey basis, whereby we look after all the permits and planning, the entire process to get all the approvals in place to build it. We build them. We're going to be building them in our facility using modular methods, and then basically having them shipped to site by truck and then install them. So the install would be probably 1 to 2 day period, and then final service connections and final touch-ups to connect them all will probably be another month in total on site. The big issue is the planning and permit process. That could take anywhere from 4 to 6 months in total. But the actual construction time is a lot shorter on site because we would be using modular technologies. What Sri has put up on site on the screen here is the 3 model sizes we will be producing. So we have a 1-bedroom studio, which is 320 square feet. The second one is a larger 1-bedroom unit with 480 square feet. And the third one is a 640 square foot 2-bedroom unit. So all of them are kind of designed to have kind of an open concept layout with lots of light, with larger patio doors. With what we're finding is some owners would like to even put them in place for a family member. So they need additional housing for a family member. Somebody might have a child who cannot afford to buy in the current market right now. So basically our modular homes are a lot cheaper compared to buying a new house or a new condo. So they already own the land. There's no cost on the land. We install our modular home and they have a place for their family member to live. And then obviously others are interested in earning rental income. Sometimes now with increased interest rates, some investment properties have become cash flow negative. So by adding the garden suite, you can make it go cash flow positive with the extra income. Our prices for the individual units are approximately $275 per square foot, just for the actual modular home. And then the utilities and foundations are separate, but that's anywhere from 15 to 25,000, depending on the property and the existing conditions on that property. What we're doing is working with realtors. So say if you have a client that may be interested, we have a consulting fee arrangement where we provide a 5% consulting fee to realtors assisting us in the sale of our modular homes to their clients. And obviously, if there's also the potential for you guys to earn additional lease income or lease commissions by lining up a tenant for the unit as well, if that's needed by them, but we cannot assist with that process as well, lining up the tenants. And that's basically the gist of it. If you guys have any questions, I can discuss more details about the process if you'd like.
I have a question though, Jerry. Even though I discussed most of it in the last meeting.
Yeah.
My question is, I have 2 questions. First one is that we didn't talk about the foundation when we had a discussion last time. Mm-hmm. Is like you guys come and do the foundation before installing this unit. What kind of foundation? And so can you please talk about a bit? Yeah.
Yeah, so we have an affiliated company that handles that part of it. We do not, because we want to minimize disturbance to the existing property. For example, in Toronto, if there's a tree that's in the middle of your backyard that's greater than 12 inches in diameter, you will never get approval to build a garden suite on that property because you're not allowed to cut down that tree. But if you have trees around the perimeter, you also have to consider there's a lot of roots from those trees that come across that rear yard under the ground. So as part of the whole planning process, we have to have an arborist do report and determine what kind of damage there could be to the roots and to the trees. So what we found is that the ideal scenario is not to use a typical concrete foundation where we're excavating and disturbing the ground. What we do is use helical piles, which are steel cylinders basically that we screw into the ground down to below the frost level. And then basically we have steel beams that sit on this, so our structure is welded to the steel frame afterwards, and that is the foundation. So we minimize the disturbance to the property. We also, the utilities, we have to determine on each property where the existing sewer is on the property, where the existing water comes into the property, and typically at the front of the yard, we will have to tie in and extend these services to the rear of the property for connection to the ADU. Electrical will come off of the main service that's already coming into the house. We would have to tie it into the existing electrical panel for that.
Yeah, okay. Okay. My second question is that related to the water connection, right? So when we connect from the main house to this ADU, so do we need to change the diameter of the pipe or the flow of my concern would be the flow of water, right? When it goes to the ADU, is it going to the velocity or the volume is going to be very low or time consuming to fill up a water, or how does it work?
So
Because
that's all dependent on each property. We'd have to investigate what's existing. For example, if these properties are in the city of Toronto, for example, Toronto has been and is doing upgrades to the existing water main services on many properties, but the property owners haven't always upgraded their lines to a larger size. So we would have to investigate each property on an individual basis to determine that. If it's too small, definitely something would have to be upgraded there to get the proper flow for both. Yeah.
So that one we need to deal with the city to get the permit to increase the diameter of the pipe, and then.
No, that all depends on the property, right? So if the city has already upgraded the water line up to the property line for that house, most cases they have, but sometimes the property owner didn't want to spend the money to upgrade it inside of their property. That's something that we would handle as part of.
Okay. And then I'm not sure whether you mentioned about the price of these each units, Jerry.
Yeah, so the pricing is approximately $275 per square foot just to buy the modular home. So, for example, the studio unit is the 320 square foot unit. That's $90,000. The 480 square foot one bedroom, that is $130,000. And then the two bedroom is $175,000. On top of these costs is the cost of the utilities, which is approximately $15,000 to $25,000 additional, depending on the property and the extent of work that's needed for that.
Okay, that's all I have. That's all I have the questions. Yeah. Anyone has got any questions from the office or from the Zoom?
We have one question.
Is it like you're going to be paid cash, or is it loan will be provided for this?
One of our agents is asking if you have to pay in cash or if you guys provide loans or set up some sort of financing for the homes.
Yeah, so we're setting up arrangements with some banks to help with the financing and credit unions as well.
Okay.
Some clients potentially will handle that themselves as well. Some are using a line of credit, for example. But we're trying to do a turnkey solution where we can help provide that financing as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is the ADU is attached to the main house or there is a separation or gap in between?
So they're separate, but I'll let Jerry answer that. That someone was asking if they're attached to the house or if there's a separation. So
It's separate. So
it's
there's a minimum separation distance from the rear of the existing house to the front face of the ADU. In Toronto, that minimum is 5 meters. And then there's setback requirements from the property lines. So on the sides, that's approximately 4 feet or 1.2 meters. And the rear is 1.5 meters.
They're charged for consultation to come and see the property.
Is there a charge for consultation to come and see your property to see if you can?
No, we don't charge for that. If we have the address, we'll do initial review online, and we can use mapping to determine, because basically, if you have to have enough room in the rear of the property as well to accommodate these setback requirements and separation distances. So we'll do an initial check of that based on mapping just to determine that. And then if everything looks okay to proceed from there, the next step is for us to come and investigate the existing utilities and where they would have to be connected to.
And is
So
there
no
any
charge for that.
Is there any model home you can go and see?
Are there any model homes that people can come and view or walk through?
Yeah, so we're actually putting up our model now in Barrie, where we're building it in our facility, and we're actually having a launch event in early March where we'll be inviting potential clients and realtors to come take a look, and we'll also be launching the website at that time as well.
Awesome.
Is
In
it there?
the Scarborough area, what's the frontage and what's the depth minimum size?
What's the frontage and depth for minimum size in Scarborough off the top of your head?
So for example, the 2-bedroom is 32 feet wide. So you would need at least 4 feet on either side of that. So you would need at least 40 feet of width for the property to accommodate the 2-bedroom. But again, it depends on the property. For example, if the property is long enough, then we can change the orientation as well of that 2-bedroom to make it fit. So in that case, if we change the orientation, you only need 20 plus, so 28 feet in width if the property was long enough. So again, it depends on the specific property. For example, if it's downtown Toronto, where you only have a 25-foot lot, typically you can only fit the studio.
So sorry, I missed your question,
If it's
Sadia.
a reconstruction home, like a new build,
Yeah,
is there a time limit to put that?
like you mean like while
So
the
for
construction's
example,
happening or?
closing is today.
Yeah.
Is there a time limit to put that modular home in that property? Because builder might have some.
Someone was asking if you have a pre-construction home, is there any time limits that you can put one of these homes on? Like if I close today, do I have to wait for a certain time after, or I can put it on right away?
No, you have to get the permits from the city first. So that permit process, because what happens is we have our standard designs for the actual modular home, but for each property, we have to prepare permit drawings showing that modular home on that property on the survey, on a site plan using the survey. Typically, the survey alone will take anywhere from 2 weeks to 4 weeks to get the survey, but the entire permit process is probably you should expect a 4 to 6 month period just to get permits.
And how much will be discounted? Because, like, for example, after 5 years or 2 years, if I don't want it, can I take it out?
If after 5 years, someone didn't want it on their property, can they take it out?
Yeah, so with the way we're installing the foundations using these helical piles, and because we're using modular technologies, it's easily removed with a crane afterwards. So like we can even resell it to somebody else in our network. Maybe you can recover a lot of the money paid and then selling it to somebody in our network. You can always move it to another property as well.
What's the depreciation of this?
What's the depreciation for this kind of property?
The depreciation on the actual modular home.
Yeah,
So it's tricky. It's not like a typical car that's depreciating in value so much, because typically our modular homes, say you come 5 or 10 years down the road, to really do a renovation on that, the interior, to make it new again, it's probably $30,000 to $40,000 cost to redo it all inside. So pretty much that's your depreciation, because if you were to resell it, cost at that time you'd assume will be higher as well with inflation. So you would have to expect to do some type of reno to recover the cost.
It's like a normal house renovation, I feel so. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Then there was a, when we discussed, there was a joint venture program, right? Could you please talk about it as well? Like,
Yeah. So we're doing for select properties. It depends on the property as well. We have to investigate the property, but what we're doing is working with property owners on a joint venture basis. So, for example, they might not be able to qualify to get additional financing to spend to build it. So we'll do a joint venture agreement whereby we'll lease the rear yard from the property. We'll put in the modular home ourselves at our cost, so no cost to the property owner, and then we'll handle the tenants and collect rents from them, and then the owner of the property is getting a share of that in term as a lease for the property, for leasing the yard area. So that's in the cases where they can't afford to spend the money themselves.
And I noticed that there is no kitchen also. The kitchen will also be here.
There's a kitchen. There's even there's on the picture.
But the flyer doesn't say that. Say that 2-bed and
yeah,
Oh,
this is the kitchen.
all
Yeah,
the
that's
homes,
they all
This is
have
the kitchen.
kitchens, yes.
they all have kitchens. Okay. He was just saying the flyer didn't say that because it was saying about laundry room and bedroom, but didn't say anything about
Oh,
kitchens.
sorry. Yeah.
Right.
So the 1-bedroom and the 2-bedroom, they both have an island as well, with a sink in the island.
Mhm.
The studio doesn't have a separate island. It's just a kitchen on the one side, just because it's a
Like-
smaller space.
Mhm.
Yeah.
sorry, one more question.
Yeah.
So Jerry, quick question on the, sorry.
Yep.
Jerry, quick question on the depreciation, just to clarify something. When it comes to lifetime of this structure versus the actual property, what is the difference? Are there any difference, or like it's
So
It's
with
same
our
as the-
structure, we're using a steel frame construction.
Mhm.
The purpose of that is because we're using cranes to install it, and then if we're removing it down the road, we need that strength to accommodate lifting it, those lifting forces. So we're using a structural steel frame for these units. So compared to the standard house, which is usually a stick frame wood construction, it's actually a lot stronger, to be honest.
Okay, thank you.
If I want, can I attach it to my main home or not?
No, you have to have a.
Separate,
yeah,
5 meters.
5 meters.
That's
Okay. Yeah.
that matter, right?
Sorry, they were just asking if they wanted because they attach it to their main home as an addition, but you were saying that there had to be that separation. So
Yeah.
So if it's a garden suite, it's usually a separation, right? If if there's under the zoning bylaw, the setbacks allow for you to put an addition on the home, and there's ways that can be added on as an addition. So it's all dependent on the property. For example, if your property your home is already at a certain length, the existing home, and you don't have the area with the setbacks for the main home to extend it further, then you wouldn't be allowed. But if you have that space, yes, that's an option.
And what is the lifetime of this?
the lifetime of the house.
Yeah, many years.
Do you have an idea on how many years, what the lifetime is of the house?
Right now, in terms of the foundations with the helical piles have like a 75 to 100-year lifetime, and it's pretty much the foundation that determines the duration for the home. So I would go by that.
What is the cost? He said that's plus 275 plus the utilities and stuff. So what's approximate?
50 to 100,000, he said.
50 to 100?
Yeah. In addition.
Well, you can ask.
15,000 to 25,000.
15,
roughly
15.
for
Oh,
the
15 to
utilities and foundation.
15, 20,000, I think he said, yeah.
Yeah, it depends on where are the utilities, right? It varies for each house. That's what he is telling, okay?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that's why we give that range, because it should be approximately that amount.
So a 2-bedroom would go around 200.
Roughly.
275, he said.
No,
No,
200,000.
it's
Because it's
275 per square
175
foot.
plus.
Oh, okay, gotcha, yeah.
Yeah, they're 275 per square
Foundation
foot.
cost is included.
275 a square foot, yeah. Sorry, what, Dinesh? Lots of questions for you here, one second. Yeah, Dinesh.
The foundation cost is included.
The foundation cost included in the bill?
That's in the $15,000 to $25,000 cost.
Yeah, that's in the price he was quoting there, yeah.
Additional.
No.
No.
It's
No,
in the
it-
additional cost.
Dinesh, did you,
No, I was.
Okay.
Commission.
commission? Oh, do
Right.
we get any commission for selling your product?
5%
And
of the total cost.
Sorry?
we sell maybe 4 or 5 houses,
Yeah, if we sell 4, he said 5%.
still 5, there's no.
Oh, if we sell 4 or 5,
Units.
yeah,
It's not using some-
like, is there more, like, more for selling more?
Well, we're using a standard 5% fee.
So how does it go with the selling the house? So if I build one
Yeah,
and now I'm selling that house, is it like a 2 different units you're selling, or is it gonna be in the property?
It's gonna be a
How they
sum.
connected to the deed?
it's, so the way I understand it, they're like buying on leased land.
No,
So you
it's in
sell-
my own lead, with my land, right?
Yeah,
So
you're leasing your land to put that property on it. So if you wanted to sell that, yeah,
Leasing is different, right?
Yes, that's.
he was saying like, especially the joint venture, he was saying, okay,
Yeah, the
I
joint
guess they're a little
venture, yeah.
confused, or they're talking about going and selling them again in the future.
How,
How,
like the whole house, so it's in my backyard,
yeah,
so now I'm selling my house.
with it in the backyard.
Basically, can I keep that? Because if I keep it probably I have to get the new owner.
You don't own the land anymore though, so you can't keep the auxiliary house. That's what I'm saying.
I
It
think she's
acts
talking
like it's
about
on
if
leased
he owns
land,
the house.
yeah. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's act like it's on leased land. If you don't own the land anymore, you can't own that. Yeah,
Yes, unless the new owner accept to keep lease that.
Yeah, you need to
I
add
don't
the
know.
value of the, you need to add the value of the ADU to the purchase price, right?
sorry,
When you sell-
three, let's start again. We didn't hear you.
So what my understanding, the question is that when we sell it, when we sell the current house where the ADU is placed, who is gonna own that, right? When we sell it, right? Of course,
Mhm.
as it goes to the new owner, but then the value of the house will be increased based on this ADU, right? If the ADU is there, like if you have a 2-bedroom ADU, if it's costing 200K, you have to add the 200K to the original house price, right? So that's
Maybe
how I
more
feel
based
it.
on the rental income.
Yeah.
It's just like if you're selling a house that already has a tenant in the basement.
Yeah.
You're.
Assuming the
sometimes
tenant, yeah.
person has to assume the tenant, right?
So is the driveway is connected to the main driveway for the car can go or no, or just?
Again, I think that has to do with how your property's set up. I have someone asking, will there be, can you extend your driveway to extend back to this property?
Typically, no. Typically, this is usually at the rear of the property.
Mhm.
If there's a driveway that comes to the side of the house, depending on the property, you're not allowed really to extend it all the way to the ADU. In Toronto, you don't have to provide additional parking for ADU under the zoning bylaw, but obviously it would make sense if the tenant is going to have a car to have the space on the existing driveway or to widen the existing driveway.
Anybody else?
Is there any assessment cost if anyone's to do the assessment, feasibility, you know? So is there any cost for that?
You mean like, will our assessed value go up? You'll probably be paying more taxes. They're asking if there's any assessment costs.
No, it's
like-
for doing this, so how did the first step, you know?
Consultation, no, he said.
Yeah, he said he'll do a consultation. He says he looks online first to see if your yard will accommodate, and then they do a visit to the property to check where they'd attach to the utilities and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's no charge.
But there is no charge.
No charge, no.
No
I thought you were talking about assessed value, but that's a good question too,
But
I guess.
assessment is a good question.
Yeah, I guess your assessed value is definitely gonna go up.
Because it's a
You'll be
preference,
paying more
so it must
taxes.
be, Yeah.
How much additional tax for could be like for 2-unit homes like Toronto? Do you have any idea?
Yeah.
Like,
Do you have any idea of the tax implication with putting these on?
Yeah.
For
Well,
the,
it depends on the value, right?
Yeah.
If they see it as
$200,000 increase,
Yeah.
then yeah.
Yeah.
you get
The
taxed on that.
1%.
Yeah,
Value. It's-
so,
Yeah, right now the city hasn't really discussed the ramifications of property tax increases.
they don't
for-
want to scare people. That's why they want them to do it
Yeah.
first.
Yeah, they do offer a program where if you agree, if the property owner agrees to provide the ADU at market rents for a 15-year period, there are forgivable loans of $50,000 that the city of Toronto provides for that. But then you have to maintain that rent level for that 15 years.
15 years,
So
yeah,
it's not as
lucrative,
not as lucrative for people, for property
unless somebody
owners.
wants a lump sum, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Anybody else? No? Anybody else
What
online
about
have?
the appliances including this price or?
Yes.
Yeah,
Did-
yeah, appliances included, yeah.
Appliances included.
Is the price negotiable?
Is the price negotiable?
It's kind of a set fee, set cost, because we have the appliances and even the furniture that goes in there as well.
Hmm.
Warranty did they have?
What kind of warranty do you have on the product?
We're doing a standard 2-year warranty and then a 7-year on the structural warranty.
What kind
So
of,
we have to build these to CSA standards. So for any type of financing,
Sorry, Harry, what'd you say? What kind of?
Is a flat roof or?
Oh, what kind of roofing is it on it?
it's a flat roof. Well, there's a slight slope to it, but like from the front, it looks like a flat roof, but there's always a bit of a slope. And then we have
So it's a metal roofing or?
metal with a membrane and then a metal roof on top. Yeah. But
And the heating is
not included?
it forced air gas as well?
no, there's no gas. We're using a heat pump system, which runs on electric power.
Okay.
So with the heat pump, it's actually
Water?
1/3 the cost of the operational cost of a natural gas furnace.
Mhm.
So that heat pump runs AC and in the summer, and then air conditioning and heat in the winter. By building code under the Ontario building code, for a heat pump system, you have to have a supplemental heat source as well, because they're only rated down to -30. So the supplemental is in-floor heating as well. We have in there.
So included, right?
Included, yeah.
Yeah. And the other thing I mentioned before was related to when you asked about the warranty. Typically, for any type of modular home, for any type of financing you get, they have to meet CSA ratings. So there's a specific Canadian Standards Association rating for modular homes that we have to have third parties that certify for us. So that certification number goes on our electrical panel in the unit. So the building inspector can see that, and then the bank knows that it was built properly.
What is the deposit requirement? So if it's somebody wants to go with it?
What's the deposit you require?
So initially, on making an agreement with a purchaser, it's 15% upfront, and then what we do is collect another 35% when we're going to start the manufacturing. So we're at 50% at that point. Prior to delivery, we have to collect the remaining 40%. And after installed, we collect the final 10% after a month. We bill it after a month at that point.
And what is the exterior of this modular house?
And what's the exterior that we see here?
So it looks like wood, but what we're doing is it's a precast material where we mimic the look of wood, and then on the sides as well. So it's a precast concrete. So it actually helps with the thermal value and for containing the heat in the winter and containing the cool air in the summer. So, and then very minimal maintenance on it afterwards.
Is it a separate meter for the hydro and stuff?
Is it a separate meter for the
No.
hydro and everything on the unit?
So we put a separate meter, but it's not a separate service from the hydro company. It's more to just record the use so that the property owner can bill that charge. Like for example, Toronto Hydro, they're not going to come and put a separate service directly just for the garden suite. So they've already mentioned that.
Mhm.
And is there any issue of insure this property?
Any issues to insure this
Insure.
property with these on it?
No, so we have our brokers that we work with as well if people need insurance for if they want to. But it's basically just added on to the main insurance policy on the property.
What is the foundation name you mentioned? I'm not quite catching that actually. I'm just Googling it. I'm not able to find out.
Helical piles.
Helico, okay.
HELLICAL piles.
Helical piles. Okay, understood. Mhm.
Also the furnace or the base coat?
Electrical.
Yeah, electrical, yeah.
Sorry, what was that?
He was just asking about the heating again.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's not much, our temperature is very low, right? The other ones,
Yeah,
the heating pump mostly the heating over the temperature.
that's, yeah, but he
That's
said
what
that they
I-
have a secondary heating system in the floor. Yeah,
For the
How
bath-
reliable that heating pump?
how reliable is it?
Yeah,
I don't know. How reliable is the heating
don't
pump
have-
in Ontario weather? That's what they're asking here. They're concerned with that.
well, that's the thing. For the summer, it's no problem for air conditioning. For the winter, they're only rated to -30. So basically, that's why we have the supplemental heat source with the in-floor heating, so that if you get those temperatures that are going below -30, you might need some assistance from that secondary heat source.
Is there any historical record of this kind of house used in any winter period?
I don't know. They're pretty new. He's wondering if there's any historical use of these kind of houses in cold weather in other areas, I guess, other than Ontario.
Well, typically every single house is a similar use in that you're following the same insulation requirements, the same heat loss calculations have to be done as a regular house. So there's, in terms of construction wise, you're meeting the same thermal values that have to be met.
One more question.
Yeah.
Do they insure, like, for example, I build it and if there is anything happens, it goes to their insurance?
You have to have it insured by your home insurance.
No, for the construction insurance?
That's coming in as well.
Yeah, 7 years warranty, he said, for structure and 2 years for, I guess, all other kind of failures. Yeah.
Like say cosmetic stuff that
Commission, how do you pay?
How do you pay the commission, the 5%? So do you get some upon signing and then some, how they structure it?
pretty much we would just follow the same like the same payment schedule as the purchase payments. So
Okay.
on that 15%, we'd give the initial 15% of the commission. When we get the next 35%, we give 35% of the commission, and so on.
Mhm.
The outside look, so is it similar, is it gonna be pretty much finished?
Yeah, it's a finished look like this. He said it's prefab concrete, made to look like
No,
this
not
wood
the
here.
house, the land.
Oh,
the
the
land. So the land around it, the landscaping, I
No,
guess.
that's the landscaping. That's
Yeah, so where this is for an image, potentially what you could do, what we're only doing is putting just a step to go into the unit. And then we assume if there's existing grassed yard, we leave it like that. If the owner wants to do something else, then we can do it, but that's not part of our cost.
How many steps are they putting in?
One.
Just
The
like that?
He
landscaping
said
is
one
another-
step to the unit.
It'll probably be 2 steps into the unit, 2
Oh,
steps up.
two steps.
So is
And
the floor is
the
smooth?
landscaping like that, we can make it look like that for another $1 million.
What do you mean in the backyard?
Yeah, yeah, some backyard is like that.
Slope, yeah. Well, yeah, they'd have to deal with the grading. It has to be flat when they put the foundation in, right? Yeah, so, but like they say, they would come out and assess per yard, I guess, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sewer line, they go the post or like that?
The what, sorry?
Sewer.
The sewer line?
Yeah, it's connected.
It's part of the utility cost, right?
Yes.
The sewer line, yeah.
So this is what the helical, right? This is what the helical piles.
Exactly.
Okay.
Included. 275, that's part of that.
Is there any marketing material so that we can
That's
show
what-
it to the clients,
Any marketing material you,
buyer?
that we can show our clients? Any brochures on anything online? You can direct
Yeah,
us to?
so when we launch, we have the launch event for the model home for viewing. We're also going to be launching the website at the time.
Okay, so like March, you said that was.
Yes, and then we're going to be preparing marketing materials that you can provide as a package to clients.
If They
Okay.
they can give us the bus, we can go from our brokerage or to see it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, one of our agents was suggesting that maybe when you launch, we'll take a little road trip as a brokerage and come up and see it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, he will let me know for sure. Jerry will let me know and then we will plan it. Yeah.
100%.
Everybody good? Anybody else online have any questions?
Yeah, I have a question. Is the permission like from the government to only have like one of these units, or is there a scenario where you could actually have more than one unit and like it would be permissible?
So in Toronto, you're only allowed one, and you're only allowed a maximum of 2 bedrooms in that unit. In other municipalities, for example, up in Innisfil, you can actually put 2 if the property is more than 1,000 square meters. So we have customers there where they have an existing bungalow that's, including the basement, is about 1,900 square feet. So in those cases, we're able to put 2 ADUs and each one at about 950 square feet. So we're actually going to combine our units to make a larger structure in those cases.
Thanks.
I have a question for you guys. How are you guys finding the market right now? Are sales down? Do you find there's more leasing that's being done?
Definitely a lot of leasing. The leasing market's hot. We're getting over asking. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah, over asking going to leasing.
Yeah, over asking for the leasing for sure. Yeah. Listings are sitting, showings are a little slow.
Getting busy.
Yeah, it is picking up since the new year for sure.
So what are your guys' thoughts on the use of a garden suite for additional rental income if it's an investment property?
And-
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
Calculating the payback period, like for 200,000, if you just get a $1,500 of rent, it will take 12 years to get the money back. For the
Yeah,
capital back.
yeah.
I think 2,000
So-
if you rent.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
2,000?
Yeah, you get 10 years to get your money back.
Yeah, so I'm just calculating just if I get like 2 years.
They're just figuring out the payback rate for if,
Oh,
you're getting so much rent, how many years it's taking to pay it back.
Yeah.
So
What I've been learning under this process is the rents have gone crazy because of the values.
Sorry, it's getting loud here. I can't hear you.
Sorry.
1 second.
I was
Everybody's
saying
in a deep discussion here. Sorry,
the
just
rental
repeat what you said. I
rates-
missed it there.
rental rates have become unbelievable. In Kitchener, basement apartments with 1 bedroom are renting for $2,000 a month. Same thing up in Alliston, 2,000. It's unbelievable where these rents are going.
But the $2,000, even if you calculate an income with the interest cost and other costs, it will take at least 15 years to get the money back.
Recoup the money that you have invested.
Yeah, 15 years.
What about this 2-story option of this?
Is 2 stories an option?
Depends where you are. For example, in Hamilton, it's not an issue. In Toronto, there's certain angular setbacks that you have to meet. So you have to have a 45-degree slope for the second level up above 4 meters. So that kind of affects things because it takes up the space from the second floor. Some people
Seen lots in
will-
Scarborough with a second story though, with an auxiliary unit in it.
Yes, yeah. If it's a big enough lot where you don't have to worry about those angular planes, then it's fine.
Someone's asking what's the ceiling height of this unit when you walk in, and what is it, 8 foot, 9 foot?
8 feet, yeah.
Could be 9, 10.
Could it be 9 or 10? Can they customize it that way?
We've actually been getting some requests for that, so we're looking into doing that. If there's enough demand for the higher ceiling, we can make them that way.
Is the design only like that, like a container, or we can like?
Can you customize the design at all?
Like a very
Or does it have to look just square like a container? Someone was asking.
Well, why we're trying to do it kind of as a standardized design is to keep the cost down, right? If we can be repeating the design, then it's a lower cost. Obviously, we can change the outside finish, for example, to try to match the look of the existing house as well. But then obviously we're get into customization, which adds some cost to it as well. But definitely an option.
Everybody good?
Can you get the contacts so that it
Yeah, we'll share the contacts after. When I usually send this recording out to the whole office, so whoever missed it can watch it back. And so
Sure.
I'll send your contact information with that as well.
Sounds good.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Jerry.
All
Thank you,
right, thank
Jerry.
you, everyone.
Take care. Take care of your health.
Thank you. Have a good week. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks for
Bye.
setting this up, Sri. That was nice of you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you for setting it up for 3.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Have a good
Thank
day.
you.
Okay, bye.